Welcome to all my replay viewers. Thank you for joining. Please know that you can still leave some love while you're here. Thank you everyone for joining this evening. I hope you all are enjoying your Sunday. This is my pet fish, Padma. Hey there, how are you, Jennifer? Glad to see you. Say hello to everyone, Padma. I haven't had Padma on camera for a bit because her tank wasn't so pretty, but we're all cleaned up and fresh, so. So glad to see you guys today. Hope you're having a good day. For those of you that are catching this on YouTube, please know that although you can't leave some hearts, you can definitely give me a thumbs up. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you like what I'm saying and you think someone could use this information, I invite you to please share it on Facebook, Twitter, your followers, and with all your friends. So I really appreciate you guys for showing up. I am not diligent about keeping my schedule, but it's mainly because I am extremely busy. I don't delight in saying that, but that's just how my life is right now. And that's why I want to talk to you about music, mantras, and movement. Because, I try to teach women whose lives have been off balance for a while. And they're trying to find their center. They're trying to find their self again. I'm trying to teach them balance through mind, body, and spirit, and the alignment of all of that and what that looks like, right? And so, but I find myself getting off balance a lot. And it doesn't always have to do with something happening in my life personally that's been triggered. But we know that life happens and things are going to come up in our lives that are going to be stressors. And the stressors can be something that can start a trigger. And then I can start to feel myself retreating again and getting into that place of, yeah, you understand what I'm talking about, Jennifer. Yeah, you just get back to that place of fear and worry and anxiety again. And then wondering, what is it all about? And is it worth it? And, so what I had to do was I really had to step back because like on Monday, starting tomorrow, I'm going to be teaching for a month. And I am going to be sharing with a small group of women, some very powerful tools and information and things that they're going to be able to use in their lives that I know in that 30-day time, they're going to see a difference. But I know in order for me to be able to give in that way, we have to have a day of rest. Oh my gosh, we do. And that's the problem, Jennifer. Sundays are usually my day of rest. I went to church this morning and I almost didn't because I thought about all of this that I have to do. And I said, I've got to give God his time because if it were not for him, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing. I would not have gotten this far. And I know that he is going to complete the good work that he has started in my life. So I'm going to do that. And I will find rest. But I know that there are things that have to get done. And this evening, and I remembered last night, I've got to go and speak to a youth group at a church this evening. And that's at 7 o'clock. So on top of all of that, I'm preparing for the class tomorrow. And I had to step back and say, you know what? The important tools, one of the first things that I'm going to be talking to these women about is the idea of the music, the mantras, and the movement. Yeah, I know sometimes we keep going and going and going. Yeah, and, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. I know some people think it's glorified being all busy and having all this stuff to do. But for me, I feel like, you know what? God can't be glorified in all of that. Just saying you're doing. So finding that balance. And when you find that balance, right? Time, it's not an issue. Things flow the way they're supposed to. And so I got back to that point and I said, so there are always three things, and you'll always hear me talk about three things. There's everything in my philosophy are three prongs. And I look at music, and I want to tell you how I use these to find my center again and what I start to do. Music has healing power, mostly instrumental, and I'm going to say that instrumental music, yes. And I am a lover of music. I love classic jazz from the 40s and the 50s. I also like classical music. I love spa relaxation music, anything that's using flutes or harps or anything like that. And the other day I picked up worship music, powerful. You know, just put that on first thing in the morning, and that just gets me going. And I have actually a worship instrumental CD that I play. And it's the sound, they call it the Songs of David. It's the music that that they would have played during that time. And exactly, and you can pray to it. And I let that go throughout the house, and I sit and I close my eyes and I take a journey to the center of my soul. And I let the music show up vibrationally in my mind and in my heart. And I just take myself there. I let the music actually take me away. And it does bring peace, Jennifer. It certainly does. And it helps to ground me. So when I find that, sometimes I'll look through my playlist and I'll put something on and something doesn't work. It's not working. And sometimes you just have to find that right tone, that right flow for you, depending on where you're at. So music is very powerful, and I would say go to that whenever you find yourself being scattered. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, when you find yourself being scattered, go to that, put that on, turn off the noise and the chit chatter of everything else, the television, the social media, and listen to the music. Now, the mantra is the other thing. I do that as well as part of my morning ritual, is that I pray. I don't leave my house unless there are things I have prayed over everything. So I pray, and I have mantras, and I am a big fan of the I am mantras. You can create your own mantras. These are affirmations that you can decree and declare. And you sit while that music is on, and you speak those I am mantras. Mine are, I am brilliant. I am powerful. I am courageous. And I just let it flow from my belly, the things that I need to say in that moment. And I can feel that shift. You can feel it happening right away between the music and those mantras, because everything you speak out of your mouth has power as well. So you see what you're doing here? This is a manifestation that starts to happen between the power of music and the sound of your voice, okay? So that's why you always have to be careful what you're talking about. The other part of that is the movement. At the retreat a few weeks ago, I told the women before we did anything that morning, we were going to dance. We were going to move. And I know people can be very self-conscious about dancing in front of other people, but I love to dance. And dancing is that's a form of celebration, to be honest with you. But in the movement, it doesn't have to always just be dancing. I love to do it just here in the house by myself. You love dancing too, Jennifer? And it's so freeing. And you can just let your body move to that music. And it's a form of exercise. It's a form of celebration. It's a form of worship. We know that's what David did. David would play music and he would dance and be the fool. And I love that. That's a beautiful expression. And so you can dance, but the other part of that is to also get out of the house and be one with nature. I am big on being outside, especially when you're finding yourself being off kilter. You feel yourself not being balanced. You feel yourself, you can't gain clarity. I'm going to tell you, if you get out of that house and you walk into the fresh air, and even if you find yourself just standing in the middle of a parking lot or a field, away from cars, away from people in your neighborhood, close your eyes and listen to the sounds around you, the birds, the trees. I mean, it's incredible what you can hear when you close your eyes and listen. So your hearing is heightened, and you're automatically taken from the place that was giving you some confusion. Oh, the water is awesome, just sitting and listening to the waves, definitely. But it takes you out of that worry of where you were before and puts you into the present moment and in a place of being still and listening. And it can bring about so much gratitude. There's nothing like being present in that moment. So you can use the music, and you can be outdoors and have that, combination together, and you can do the mantras. You can do all three of them together. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. And this is what I do. And so I want you guys to have this as well. This is a tool that you can use and definitely put it to use for yourself. Because quite frankly, there's too many of us. I did that scope on stop lying to yourselves. There's too many of us. If we don't practice some of these things, we're walking around in this facade. We're walking around, people are saying, how you doing? And you're like, I'm fine. And you're not fine. And we just keep lying, and we just keep walking, and we just, keep that mask on, and, just doing all this stuff. And it's just, it doesn't make any sense. So here's one thing at the very least. What we're going to do in the Phoenix process, these are tools, but we're going to be going a lot deeper with that, with shedding the lies and shedding the facade and getting rid of that before you can even reclaim your life and rise from the ashes. And this isn't fun stuff, but it's stuff you have to do. Just like you may not want to take the time every day to do your devotions and to pray every day, because again, you're thinking about all this stuff you have to do. But I'm telling you, when you bring in these practices into your life, and I don't know how anyone feels about rituals, but I like to have disciplines. And self-discipline, when you have that in your life, it shows up in the way you live your life. So if you don't want the same thing you've been getting, if you don't want to be the way it was, and you want to walk into the fullness of what God has for you, and you want to be the best you can in this life, then learn to develop that. Even if it's 2 to 3 things a day, learn to develop that. So there's still time. I've got a few women in my class. There's still time if anyone wants to join us. You can go to my website, marjoriephoenix.com/the Phoenix Process, and you can join us. This class won't be offered again until sometime next year. But use those tools and tell me how they work for you. I really want to hear from you and let me know how that's going to work. So I can see that this has blessed you. I love the hearts. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And as I say always, until we meet again, go out and change the world. Thank you for joining me. Bye, Jennifer. Have a blessed day.